May God bless you and keep you always. May your wishes come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young.
We're at the New York City Vietnam Veterans Memorial Plaza Relighting Ceremony. This is where all the names of the men and women from New York City who gave their lives during Vietnam are listed. Now, in 2012, Hurricane Sandy caused significant damages to our beloved Vietnam Veterans Memorial Plaza. Earlier this year, the physical structure repairs were completed, and now, tonight, October 13th, 2016, the new state-of-the-art LED lighting system will be illuminated. Together, we celebrate.
Right now we're looking at the memorial for the Vietnam Veterans of America in New York City. On this particular wall and on the adjacent Walk of Fame are the names of 1,741 American servicemen and servicewomen who died in Vietnam. Cost of war is very, very, very deep, very, very expensive. As we both know, freedom is not free. Cost of freedom is buried in national cemeteries throughout the world. In the last 240 years, in excess of 3 million American men and women sacrificed for the freedoms and liberties that we now enjoy as part of the United States of America. God bless them, and God bless the United States of America.
We were planning to do renovations before 2012, and we were well into the process, and in 2012 Hurricane Sandy hit, and we had to reassess our plans because we had to greatly expand the scope of work. There was a lot more damage that needed to be dealt with. Long story short, we started the process in, I believe it was 2010, and we finished it tonight, which is October 13, 2016. Very proud of the results. One of the most difficult parts, besides the design, was navigating through all the different agencies that we needed approval from. We had to go to Parks, Arts and Antiquities, Public Design Commission, Municipal Art Society, etc. Luckily, we came up with a plan that they all liked, and we were able to proceed. The fixtures are all custom, so it took a long time to get them. So we had to wait, I think, 16 weeks for the fixtures. As I mentioned before during my speech, to clean the wall, we had to use a micro abrasion technique. But in order to do that, we had to tape each letter off individually so we didn't damage the letters. That was a long, tedious task. We had to scaffold the whole thing. We actually put it inside a box. And it took about 6 months to do that, and then the lighting after that. And the final report, the final product is here, and we're very proud and happy to see it.
On November 19th, 2001, this plaza was the first public space to open in Manhattan after the attacks of 9/11. Since that time, the Friends of the Vietnam Veterans Plaza have worked diligently to make sure the honor and the respect for those that lost their lives and the remembrance for those that served in Vietnam has never wavered. It has been part of our ethos to remember ourselves, and it's so wonderful to see that the new veterans of our country, the new modern warfare veterans, are coming out in support of Vietnam veterans, and we thank them all for being here today. And thank you, Kristal, for making the Vietnam veterans your special gift to the city. Thank you very much.
Very impressed, very a bit emotional. Always emotional to remember those that from New York City gave the ultimate sacrifice. I almost did. I got a Purple Heart, but I was blessed to come back. And so I think it's all our duties to not forget what these guys and women did when they were over there. So it's particularly good that we're able to do this, that people can organize around this memorial and always remember that some gave the ultimate sacrifice.
And tell us about your Purple Heart.
Oh, my Purple Heart. March 11, 1970, responding to a firefight to help a sister company, came in, and we were, it was quiet then, and all of a sudden they opened up on us and just hell broke loose. And I was I was the radio man for my company commander. So they particularly focused on our group, and a few of us went down. None of us died in the command group, but 4 of us were wounded. And we were pinned down. The whole company was pinned down. And I was shot, and there was quite a few wounded in the company, a couple killed as well. And I remember that, you know, as they were evacuating people, my company commander said, you know, go ahead, take off, get on that helicopter. I said, no, I'm the only one left with the radio, so I have to stay here. And I was sort of coordinating things for the evac helicopters, even though I was wounded. And so I stayed behind. I got on the last helicopter out. And I remember laying down on the stretcher, and blood from the guy above me, because it was racks, was dripping down on me. I'll never forget that. But I also got a Bronze Star for Valor for staying behind and continuing my duty as you know, people were being evacuated. So it was a blessing, actually, because it got me out of the field. And after that, I was sent to Thailand, not Thailand, was it Thailand? Oh my God. That country next to us, Cambodia. Cambodia. And so I would fly in resupplies to the guys, because I was unable to be on the frontline infantry anymore. So it was a hairy time, but you know, something that had to be done.
A true hero. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for recognizing it.
And the reason I'm here at 55 Water Street today is to remember those that fell, those that are serving, and those that in the future will serve. You're not alone. You'll never be alone. As long as there's a veteran alive, you got somebody to come home to who knows what you went through. Unfortunately, during the Vietnam War, it wasn't so. But that's the past. This is the present. We're here and now, and this dedication at this plaza, the relighting. I was here for the initial opening, and it's just like being back when it started all over again. And in closing, I'd like to say God bless America, and one little tribute for all the veterans and civilians. You have never lived till you've almost died. For those who fight for it, freedom has a flavor the protected will never know. God bless you all.
I was recently elected chairman of Friends of the Plaza, and our responsibility is to maintain the memorial and the plaza and make sure it stays in always good repair. And after Hurricane Sandy, this place looked like one of the battle cities on the map that's at the beginning of the plaza, and it was a mess. And we were fortunate enough to have Stefania on our board, who really pinned the rose on himself and went forward and did so much to make this come out as beautiful as it is. It's absolutely magnificent. And it's a jewel in Lower Manhattan. And it's a credit to all us Vietnam veterans. It's really a good thing, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful memorial to Vietnam veterans. And I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I'm proud to see this, and I'm proud to be chairman of this board, and I'm just a terrific day. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
This is a great event, terrific. You know, the lighting was always an issue with us Vietnam veterans over the years. And then Hurricane Sandy came along and made sure that it didn't work. And you know, from a silk purse to Salsier to a silk purse, that's what we got, because what had happened was we got funding and we said, okay, let's do this right. We had the right team with Stefania, who's 40 years in construction. He's a member of our board, chairman of our board. He's a Silver Star holder from Vietnam. He saw action in Vietnam. So, and he took a lot of pride in the wall. It wasn't just a construction project. It was a work of love. And he had to go through a lot of committees and approvals because there's a lot of government agencies involved here. And I think it looks great. It's a reflection now of what we're about as we go into the fall of our lifetime. That wall can be seen up and down Fifth Avenue, across to Brooklyn. We're well lit, and it's been a terrific thing. And I am so very grateful to Gabe and to his committee and all the work that they put in for doing this for us Vietnam veterans.
This is a great event, actually, restoring this monument. You know, 31 years ago they put this thing up, and we had a big parade here in New York City welcoming home our Vietnam veterans. It was the first real welcome home parade in the United States. And as we also raised money, we got money for programs for veterans for a lot of years. And unfortunately, the original design didn't wear as well as we would have hoped. And now they've just rebuilt it, especially after the floods, which really screwed everything up. So now with this beautiful new memorial, with this beautiful lighting, now you can actually read everything on it. And it's really impressive when you read all the different stories on there. Some of whom are by people who were still alive, and some of whom people who died in Vietnam.
With us is Michelle DellaFave, and this is very special because she entertained the Vietnam veterans in the days. So say a few words for us, Michelle.
I will. Oh, thank you. I'm always honored and feel very privileged to be able to sing with the Vietnam veterans, thinking that at the time when I went there in '69 and '70, most of the young men were the same age as when I was 19 and 20. So for me, it means a lot that what they do to keep their brotherhood together, and they still make sure that the ones that that did not make it, they are always remembered. And I see their the way they are together, it's such a blessing to be able to communicate with them and share stories and talk about the old days, but also the fact that they are also helping and nurturing, I guess, the young soldiers too, to make sure that what they experienced, unfortunately, in those days will never happen again. So I think that is very, very important, and that everyone knows that they are not forgotten. And I feel like they're all on the other side supporting me to be, I call myself their freedom angel, to continue in my way to say, don't forget, welcome home, God bless you all, Vietnam veterans. So that's my mission. So anyhow, that's
Thank you. Thank you for all your service.
Oh gosh, I'm always blessed and honored. I've always been very patriotic because my mom was in the USO and my dad was in the Navy, so kind of comes along in the blood, I guess. So yes, and working with Bob Hope, I got to see what true patriotism and if true patriot he was. So I'm always glad to support the USO.
My name is Jim Mullarkey. I'm past state commander for the Catholic War Veterans, and I was invited here today at 55 Water Street for the rededication of the Vietnam Memorial, and it's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, new lighting and the circular pond that they have here. You have to come down and see it. You have to see it for yourself. It's absolutely beautiful. And the people that are around me now tonight are really wonderful people, nice people, people that have the love of their life is the fact that they were veterans and they served their country with honor and distinction. And it's so important to know that they are here in present, and the people that aren't here are being memorialized, and that's what it's all about. And thank you very much for this interview. Thank you.
I served in Vietnam from 1966 to 1968. Headquarters was basically Da Nang 1st Marine Air Wing, part of an Air Mobile Reactionary Force, and been to different places up in Nam, and came home and tried to make myself get adjusted back into society. But the lighting ceremony this evening was very heartwarming and very touching, because it's something that represents those that made the ultimate sacrifice, and it's something that should be always remembered and recognized, because without the military veterans, America wouldn't be as great as it is today.
With us is Westley Thomas from the Vietnam War. Could you tell us what years you served?
1966 to 1968.
And what branch of the service were you in?
United States Marine Corps.
And tell us a little bit about your experiences there.
My experiences there was, it was good sometimes, and other times it wasn't good, because I was stationed in Da Nang. They used to call that Rocket City, because they used to get rocketed in mortar a lot. And then they formed what they call an Air Mobile Reactionary Force. Christmas Eve 1966, there was an airplane crash in the Quang Nang Providence, and our unit was called out to go out and do a search and rescue, which turned out to be an all-night event on Christmas Eve. And then in April of 1967, I received a letter from the Commanding General L.B. Robertshaw, along with my unit, for us doing doing a search and rescue and looking for survivors and stuff like that. So that was one of my experiences. Then I was at other places also, up at Camp Carroll, Langley Village, Martin Yard Village, burial detail. And lately I've reconnected with some of my Vietnam veteran buddies that I served with 50 years ago, and I'm helping them establish their VA claim. Because when I came back from Vietnam, I didn't know there was any entitlement or any benefits that I was entitled to. And later on, I didn't find out until about 2000, and I was discharged in 1969. And then when I sent for my service military medical records, there was other awards that were missing, and they were entered in record around 1980. I didn't find out about that until 2000. And one was the Presidential Unit Citation and Navy Commendation.
And this is Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day here in New York City. We're at 55 Water Street. And tell me about this book here.
This book is basically Vietnam. It's a love triangle, and it deals with a young couple getting married and goes off to war, and things transpire and happen in her life and in her veteran husband's life. And I don't want to give away all the details, but if you're interested in the book, you can find me on YouTube. All you have to do is put in A Hard Decision, Westley Thomas, or A Hard Decision interview, Westley Thomas, or Westley Thomas interview, or A Hard Decision. You'll see book trailers. And if you also go on YouTube and put in honor of 28 JAN 2016, you'll see myself along with 7 other Vietnam veterans being interviewed on Staten Island Cable, and the host was Ed Select. He invited us to come for Black History Month, honoring all veterans, and it was an interesting event.
Thank you very much. A Hard Decision by Westley Thomas.
I'm with the United War Veterans Council. We've been involved in New York City Veterans Affairs for quite a while, and we're best known for producing the Veterans Day Parade. But one of the things we consider most important is supporting the Vietnam veterans, because they have shown us, and they've shown the country, that you can't have one generation forget another generation of veterans. And they walk the walk. They've shown the country that it's important to respect and honor veterans, and in return we respect and honor them for what they've done. And this is ground zero, if you will, for honoring and respecting the service and the sacrifices of our Vietnam veterans. So we're very proud to be here tonight.
And what do you think about this relighting?
I think it's inspirational. I mean, I think it's symbolic, right? It's basically showing that there is energy in that generation of veterans, literally and figuratively.
With us is Kathryn Cross, a Gold Star mother, and today it's been the relighting of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Tell me what you're feeling.
Oh, my son's father was a Green Beret during Vietnam. So it's very, very special. And all of the people here, the Vietnam veterans, are so supportive of the Gold Star mothers. It's absolutely tremendous. So of course this is very, very significant to me in my heart, because this represents all of these people that have been so much support to my family and given so much for our country, haven't they? You know, at long last, it's illuminated. It's a wonderful thank you. And they deserve that so much, don't they? For all they've sacrificed, for all they've given for all of us. It's just beautiful. It's a wonderful thing that they did today, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering.
And you're also very active with the greeting cards, Christmas cards. Could you elaborate a little on this?
Well, I produce a greeting card called the Tribute Journey cards. They're exclusively for the veterans and the service members. We produce them for 39 states in a network of about 83 Gold Star mothers like myself, 222 volunteers, and then we also distribute them on our ships at sea that are deployed out for our sailors and service members there, and throughout the world to our clinics for the Department of the Navy. I do this 5 times a year, so there are a total of about 430,000 greeting cards that are produced through the generosity of U-Haul. It's tremendous what they do to do this program with me. It really is.
And also some hospital work you were talking about?
Well, I'm a hospital volunteer. I'm an American Gold Star mother, and I'm a hospital volunteer with the Veteran Affairs Voluntary Services. So that's my primary mission as an American Gold Star mother, and that's where the greeting cards began. So I started to distribute them in my hospital where I was a volunteer. Other mothers got word that this is what I was doing, and they asked if they could have some too. And that's how it's developed into what it is today.
And what's it mean to someone to get a card?
What does it mean? Oh, the greeting cards, oh, you should see their faces when we give them the cards. Not just the veterans, though. It's wonderful, and it's an honor to share with them. But for the mothers and the volunteers, it's a way for them to reach out to our veterans and say thank you for your service. It show our appreciation for all that they've sacrificed for us and done. but also for the Gold Star mothers, the Blue Stars, and the Silver Star families to reach back and be able to do this. You know, it's wonderful. It really is. So we appreciate it, being able to do this for them, and we hope that, and they seem to really appreciate what we're doing back. You know, it's wonderful. It really is. It's a very simple gesture, but it means a tremendous amount to all of us. And I am so honored to be able to facilitate that. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
Just a simple gesture means so much. And thank you to all of our veterans.
I'm sorry.
My name is Felix Durousseau. I'm from a small town in Louisiana, Opelousas, Louisiana. After finishing a 2-year college for electronics, I volunteered for the United States Army. I was in the United States Signal Corps, where we put up the first microwave site in Vietnam in 1968. We ran communications for the Marines and the Air Force. I came back from the United States in 1969. I had 1 year service left to do, and I ETS'd out of service in 1970. I've been involved with the Vietnam Veterans of America for the last 10 years, and I'm always welcome my brothers back home. Thank you.
My name is Arthur A. Franklin. I was born and raised in East Harlem. I got drafted right after high school in 1968. Went to Vietnam in 69 to 70. I was in plate coup. I was in the 4th Infantry Division, reconnaissance, search and destroy missions. And you know, but this Relighting is beautiful because there's a lot of guys that I see on the wall that was in my unit and I grew up with. You know, that's not here today, and you know, God bless them, and you know, and I always say welcome back home because you know, it was a struggle at that time like that, you know. But it's a blessing to see the wall lighting up because all the letters on the wall bring back a lot of memories, different writings and different letters that I see, you know. But it's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad to be among my fellow veterans here, you know, that came, you know, like that. But I just thank God for another day here, you know, and it's a blessing and something that we will never forget it for generations, you know. Thank you very much.
May God bless you and keep you always. May your wishes come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you.
I'm Kristal Hart reporting from the New York City Vietnam Veterans Memorial Plaza. It's located at 55 Water Street. This was the Relighting dedication ceremony. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching, and we would like to thank all of our veterans for their service to America. Thank you.